What's up guys, we are back and working on the E36 as you guys saw last event before everything got shut down, locked down. At the end of it we had a bit of a fire. Yeah. Yeah, still fire, still fire. Get it, bro. Yeah. That's the second fire that we've had in recent times with this car because of the turbo manifold and the way that it goes over the valve cover. It's kind of in close proximity to a lot of things. So today we're going to be fixing that problem for the last time. Not only are we going to be fixing the problem, but we're going to be improving a bunch of stuff in the engine bay as well and really making everything look pretty again. Basically we're going to make the E36 great again. So first things first, we need to tear the whole setup apart. We will be putting this metal M52 valve cover on. Now this is not an M50 valve cover, this is an M52 valve cover. I didn't even know they existed, but they do, and they come in this metal form, which is freaking awesome. So it's exactly the same as my plastic one. Coils and everything bolt onto this one, but it's metal, so no more melting, which is freaking fantastic. But of course it looks crap, so we're going to have to paint that and make it look all nice. We're also going to clean everything up. There's a bunch of wiring here that I really hate, so we're going to tidy all that up as well. Make the setup look awesome. First things first, we're going to tear the whole thing down and we're going to rebuild it. Looks like I need a new boost solenoid as well for my electronic boost controller, because that is toast from the fire. It wasn't actually the valve cover that caught fire like this time, that was just a bit of rubber that was here on the wheel arch. As you can see, again, everything's in really close proximity, and I was giving it a lot of beans and everything gets quite hot, so heat management is the key today. We're going to heat wrap this whole manifold as well. Yeah, also I went to the wrecker and got an oil cooler that we're going to be installing, which is freaking awesome. So I've got to mount that. So yeah, I was actually really happy with the way it performed the last couple of track days, other than of course the valve cover. So if we can get this sorted, I think we'll be in a real good spot. Let's get to it. So we're slowly making progress. It was actually quite hard to get everything off because the fire retardant stuff that they spray on makes everything rust. So even though it's only been like a week, the bolts had all started to rust, which made everything quite fun to get off. And we're going to start undoing the 4 million bolts that hold the turbo manifold on. Alright, let's keep motivated. Keep going. Whew, all the bolts are off the manifold. I didn't video it because I swear a lot when I do it because it sucks. But it's done. So strut bar up, we've got to jack the engine up and lift the manifold out, and then we can start taking the valve cover and stuff off, which is the more fun stuff, and tidying everything up. It's so gross down there, lots of oil because of the melted valve cover. Oil should be in the engine. I hate it when it's outside of it, it's gross. Alright, let's get it done. Manifold's off. It's currently raining a lot outside, so that's probably what you guys can hear, if you can hear it. But now we can go ahead and start taking everything else off. That's really the hardest part. Done. Our Boss Coffee heat protector, which actually worked pretty darn well. Look at how freaking cooked it is. This is all just super cooked. Back to square one with that, but we're gonna fix it. No more problems after this. Cool, everything is all off. This is currently how it looks at the moment. Grubby as hell, but about to look really awesome. Here's the valve cover, just annihilated. Look at that, crazy. No wonder it was leaking so much oil after the fire. Everything's just completely deformed. So another one bites the dust. Alright, that's where we're going to leave it. We'll pick this video up tomorrow morning. I'm buggered, I need food. and I can't be stuffed being dirty anymore, so I'll see you guys in the morning. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're back. Another day. Time to get cracking straight into the E36. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to clean everything up. It's got to degrease everything. Degrease literally everything that has had oil on it, or we've got to clean it up if it's got this dust on it from the fire extinguisher. We've got our metal valve cover here. We need to sand this down. We're going to spray that wrinkle black with some of this wrinkle plus stuff here. It's awesome. Make it look nice and new. I'll chuck it in the oven so it wrinkles nicely. We have some gold heat tape, some exhaust wrap. We need to clean all the turbo manifold, wastegate, downpipe, everything like that. We're going to degrease that as well outside, and then we'll put it all back together and it should be all nice and new. And just make sure that nothing is going to catch on fire anymore. So we'll put some gold heat tape on this radiator hose as well, because that gets quite close to the turbo, which sits about here. So that'll definitely not be helping with keeping the engine cool as well. And we need to mount the oil cooler. The stuff you see here, that's for the 280ZX, which we're going to talk about in the next video, which I'm super excited about. Yes, that is an intercooler, which means choo-choo noises for the 280, but that's next video. Let's get cracking.
Is it? Turn her over and bang, up the butt.
Alrighty, here's our valve cover, all painted, wrinkle black, good as. Old one, cooked, new one, cooked but properly in the oven because we wanted to. And now it's ready to go on, which is cute. So we're just going to continue cleaning up the bay. I'll just scrape all of this gasket goo off, put some new stuff on. Then we have our new gaskets to go on the valve cover. Always new gaskets. And then we'll continue putting all the other stuff on and hopefully never have this problem again. We literally do not know the next date that we'll be drifting again, so may as well take the time to make everything exactly how I've always wanted it to be instead of rushing it between events and stuff like that. So gonna make you perfect, mate. Alright, our sealant's down, gasket's down, and I must say I much prefer the M50 style gaskets that are flat and that don't have the big groove that have to go into the valve cover, because they're so much easier to muck up. The big groove ones, I've mucked them up a bunch of times when you're putting the cover on. If they don't go in properly to the grooves, it really stuffs things up, whereas these are flat, so you can't really stuff it up. Gasket on, nicely, valve cover straight on top. It's also much easier to do it without the big turbo manifold right here blocking everything, so pretty stoked. Quickly before I do anything though, I'm going to double check the torque on the head bolt to make sure that everything is all good, because I haven't actually re-torqued them yet since I put the ARP studs in, so good time to check, and then we'll put our nice new valve cover on. Cool, check the torque on all the head studs. For the most part, perfect. A couple of them had like a tiny tweak before it was back to torque, but nothing major, so pretty happy with that. Now the valve cover can officially go on, which is cool. Lots of work, lots of money. Valve cover's on, looking tidy. I do love the wrinkle black. Does look very cool. Tidied up a little bit of the engine bay and the strut tower already. We'll go ahead now and we're going to wash the turbo manifold, wrap the turbo manifold, and then we can reinstall the turbo manifold. How many times can you say turbo manifold in one sentence? So we're making a quick pit stop at Super Cheap Auto. Just to pick up some stuff that we need, some gloves so that we don't get fiberglass in our hands when we're putting the heat wrap on the headers, and a couple of other wee things as well. Plus it's nice to get out of the house, especially at times like these. Alright, we have our supplies. We're good to go. Probably bought a little bit too much, but always happens every time we go. We've got a welding helmet because my one was stuffed. some gloves because I don't want to get fiberglass on my hands when we put the heat wrap on, wire brush so we can clean everything up, some rags because I ran out, a new switch for the car because I needed it, and a nice smell because my car smells like crap. You! Half of the manifold is heat wrapped. That was super difficult. So we kind of missed a spot here, mostly because we had to, just the way the shapes and the angles go. Plus, I've never really done this before properly, so, but that's a lot more coverage than we had before, so it should help a bunch. Plus I've overlapped it a lot, so it's pretty much double heat wrapped all the way over. And now we'll do the second half, and then we can put the manifold back onto the car. Alrighty, so the manifold is now heat wrapped. Looks freaking rad. Come up really good. Pretty happy with it since I've never done it before, but looks cool. So we're gonna chuck this in now, and then we're kind of on the home stretch in terms of the heat management stuff. I'm gonna tidy up some wiring, tidy up the engine bay, get the car back on the ground, and kind of see where we're at. There we have it. So this is where we're at. Radiator hose back on, heat wrapped gold, so that we can kind of keep that heat out of the hose. Obviously the turbo manifold's on, nicely wrapped. Got our nice gold heat tape on the strut tower. So everything's kind of coming together, beautiful. Nice new metal valve covers on. And yeah, everything looks like it should. Hopefully, we should never have those problems again. I've just chucked the Burnout Unlimited metal cover on just to see how it's all going to come together, but much better so far. But we are going to come back in the morning, chuck everything else on, finish this up, start the car, make sure she's running perfect. It's been a super miserable weekend here, really rainy and crappy, but it's been freaking lit in this garage. Yeah, that's for sure. Oh man, yeah, sorry, I'm super lame, but I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. Welcome back to another freezing day here in Melbourne, Australia. Finishing the E36. We made awesome progress on this so far, but there's still quite a little bit to go. Unfortunately, I've just discovered there is a split water hose underneath the inlet manifold here, and I can't get to it without taking the inlet manifold off. Before we finish off the hot side of the project, we're going to whip the inlet manifold off. Luckily they're not that hard to get off, although this is the M50B25 manifold, so it is bigger, makes it slightly more difficult, but we'll whip it off, fix that water hose, put it all back together. Means I can clean a couple of things up here as well, finish off the hot side, install the oil cooler, start it up, and we'll be all happy because it's going to be perfect and clean. Actually, first off I need to make a coffee, and then we're going to get cracking. Blood, sweat, coffee. Oh my god, I need this so bad right now. It's warmed me up, making me super motivated to actually do life. I've been super bummed because there's no events coming up. It's really hard to get motivated to do stuff like this when you're pretty much building a car for no reason because you can't go drifting. It is nice to come to the garage and see a perfect, clean, completed car just sitting there in your clean garage. That does make you happy for some reason. But oh well, let's keep going. Alrighty, we have the intake manifold removed, and I'm pretty stoked that I did remove it because look at all the crap from the fire extinguisher. You can taste it in the air, it's disgusting. It's all under here as well, so this gives me a good chance to clean all of that up. No issues, just lots of skids. Alrighty, so here's our water hose that split if it will focus. That was on this pipe that goes all the way to the back of the head and down here to the front of the head. And for some reason, when I built the engine, I used this type of hose, which is super weird. Probably not the hose I should have used, and as you can tell, it's like deformed big time, so I'm an idiot, and that's a lesson learned. But we're gonna use some proper hose now that you should use, and not some weird ass, don't even know what this is. So we're up to the point where the dump pipe is ready to go back in. Everything else is all nicely. It's been a freaking journey, that's for sure. So we'll get the dump pipe back on, bolt the exhaust and stuff up. One of my favorite things about working in this tiny garage, I know it looks kind of okay size on camera, but everyone that comes around here, the first thing they say is, holy crap, your garage is so much smaller in person than it is on video. Because it is. But my favorite thing about this place is when it rains heavily, it floods, which is pretty great. So yep, there's that. But yeah, let's go get this dump pipe in and hopefully start the car. I think this was supposed to be a kind of 1 day job and it's turned into a 3-day job, so it's good. Yeah, well, the car is about ready to go back on the ground. Turbo's all in, all lines are on, everything's starting to come up millhouse. Quickly, I'm just going to cut. I've got the stock bash bar on the front here. I'm going to cut a hole underneath here on the bottom so that the oil cooler can go up through, and then I'll mount it. So it'll sit somewhere right like this on the side, just nice and tucked in. I'm waiting on some parts to arrive. The top hat, so we've got a new top hat coming that have the ports, the AN ports coming out so that we can run the lines to the top of the oil cooler. Super important with the M50 engines to run an oil cooler. I should have installed one ages ago. Really helps a lot, obviously, with heat management, keeping the oil cool, which in turn helps keep the water cool. Everything works together. It's just something you need to have. These engines see super high oil temperatures, so especially when you're doing mad skids. So we'll quickly go cut the hole, mount it up. Booyah! Oil cooler is mounted, ready for its lines. So now we can put the car on the ground, finish a couple of things and then start her up. Love the feeling of letting a car down after long hours of working on it. Yeah. Woo! Pretty much working in a swamp in here.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Alrighty, there we have it. Everything is all back together. I tidied up a bunch of wiring and stuff around here. Core packs are in, so now it's time to start. I haven't put any water in it, but I'm gonna get it started for a second anyway. I've still got a couple other things I want to do. Like I said, I'm gonna make a fan shroud. Didn't get time to do that in this video, but I will do it because I think it'll definitely help. But man, this is probably the tidiest I think the engine bay has ever been. Looks freaking rad. Still need to I need to do a little cover for the ECU and a couple other things over this side, but it's definitely come together really well. COVID-19, I guess the positive is that we get to take time to make everything perfect. Right, here we go. There you have it, it still runs. I don't want to run it for too long because obviously no water in it, but it's just so freaking tidy now, which is amazing because it's not like me to have a super tidy car. Classic. But yeah, so I intend to keep it this way now. Everything looks great, should hopefully stay together nicely. No more flames or fire, which is awesome. But now we're all dressed up with nowhere to go because obviously no track days coming up, but I'm sure this whole COVID thing will pass and we'll be out on the track in no time. Next video, we will be working on the 280ZX. This thing is about to get a massive overhaul. It's going to be pretty much a mini restoration. We're going to pull a bunch of panels off, fix a bunch of rust because there's little bits of rust in it here and there. Then we're going to wrap the car, which I'm really excited about. And then we're going to put a turbo on it because the perfect daily driver, or the perfect weekend car, which is what I want that to be, definitely needs to have a turbo on it. So we're going to keep the L28 engine. We will be adding a turbo onto the side of it. We're making the most of our lockdown, which is cool. But thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out anything in the comments below that you think maybe I need to add to this, or just anything you're thinking. Always happy to chat. Follow me on Instagram @itsmikeLake. Make sure you say good day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Of course, hit that subscribe button as well, like, all that stuff. Cheers guys, peace.